Get into it. This man's been killing the airwaves here recently. All the scandal, firing two of his co-hosts, and now we got even some more allegations coming up from a former member of his network, none other than Mr. Pump It Up himself, Joe Budden. Fellas, let me know what you think about the whole pod he had, and then Rory and Mal's rebuttal, and then afterwards we can get into a little bit of these allegations, man. It's just so much going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, he having a bad week. I'm gonna start with all right, let's start with the Rory and Mal stuff. All right. I came on the last time we talked about this and said I was riding with Joe, he blah, blah, blah. But if what they're saying is true, now I would want to see the percentages, but if what they're saying is true, if it was a percentage deal, yes, you need to show me the accounting. You need to show me the money. You need to show me where it's coming from, and you don't need to give me no damn Excel spreadsheet. Like, if we was making money now, I probably would send y'all an Excel spreadsheet because I'm the motherfucker that's putting it together.
Yeah.
But if you got real licensed accountants that you all are paying out of your pot to make sure this is right, you got to give me legal stuff with receipts, with everything to know everything is tracking and do that. So I agree with them there. I agree with them on the level of quote unquote verbal disrespect. If you go and say this is a business, like Joe talking about, oh, it's a business, so you're fired, then you can't talk in the business no way the way Joe was talking to them, according to them. Like, that's an HR headache right there in itself. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. And then on the last part of it, like, against the Joe thing, this is like typical Joe behavior, man. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, Charlamagne said, Joe gonna figure out a way to fuck this up. Everybody was like, oh, no, blah, blah. And Charlamagne was like, nah, like, this is what Joe do. Like, Joe just can't be happy with shit. You went into a business with a guy like that, and you didn't put any barriers or put any, let's say, once you started really popping, you should have started getting other things that you can do. So that if this fails south, you can jump into something new and never miss a beat. So you didn't take the opportunity to build your own brand, because it's being real. Joe is, well, I would say the things that Joe was trying to write about. Yes, I listened to Joe Budden's podcast because of Joe. That was the reason why I started watching it and listening to it. Then with Rory and Mal, they were there, and I'm like, oh, I like these dudes too. That's cool. But really, I was there for Joe's hot takes. I was there for wife beater Joe to go off and do whatever his crazy shit he do. Joe does set the table. He does set the table. He does buy the groceries. Rory and Mal probably do some of the cooking, but I'm with him on that. I'm with him that, like, yeah, these jokers is here for me, so y'all eating off of me, so I should feel like I should have more power. I don't disagree with that, depending on what the splits were.
Yeah, but then why make that contract? If that's you can't make me a profit partner and then say I'm your employee. I'm not your employee. I'm a profit partner, bitch. Show me the accountant. The accountant, that's in the contract. If we're profit partners, the accountant is in the contract. It is paid for. Give me the numbers. Don't tell me I'm a profit partner and then don't tell me what we making. How do I know you're not jerking? You can't. You jerking me. And on the other part of you start acting crazy, when I start asking for the accountant, I know you jerking me.
Yeah. Right.
And if you
I agree.
And then to go from the business standpoint of it to you want to talk crazy about me about some personal shit, and the shit he apologized for it, but like, oh, I didn't ask you for the drive. I didn't ask you to have my baby, or to show up when I was having a kid, and I didn't ask you for the mall shit. Oh, he was living with me, and he was high. When I see you, I'm gonna beat you the fuck up. It's not about business no more. You being disrespectful. You gotta fight after that. I'm finna fuck you up. That's the end of it.
And I agree with that part too. But even with going to that profit percentage thing, it depends what the percentages are too. If Joe owns 60% of the company and they were getting 20-20, he does have the right to make the call. He should always show, because that's part of the contract. That's what he does have the right to make the calls, like, because he's the majority.
Yeah, you make there. Right. Yeah. You make all the decisions. You are the majority. I'm almost certain he has the majority of the percentages.
Right.
I don't care if I'm getting 1%. Bitch, you gonna show me these books so I know
Facts.
I'm getting my 1%.
Facts. I agree 100%.
That's hands down. You start getting funny and Twitter about, oh, you can't audit me. No, bro. This is the and then for if it's true for Roy to say, oh, I found a $400,000 mistake.
Yeah.
You doing wild shit, bro.
Yeah. But I would say
I'm not coming back here to work.
The parts that I don't get with Rory and Mal for them is this is what I don't get. You've been dealing with this for 6 years? I wouldn't have only dealt. I would have dealt with it for like up until like year 2, maybe year 3. Like you can't be dealing with this for 6 years, and then all of a sudden now be trying to like, oh, I'm gonna share our side of it. No, your side is that after 3 years of this shit, you should have been like, we can't do business if you ain't trying to do business.
Mhm.
That was 6 years. Like, yeah, Joe getting funky with your ass because he been getting funky with you and you let him do it.
Yeah.
So he gonna keep doing the same shit that he been doing to you until you put your foot down. 6 years later, putting your foot down when all this money's starting to tumble in. Yeah, that's crazy talk to me now. It's like, okay, you should have been doing this when the money was minimal and being like, nah, bro, we got to see the financials as part of our contract. Let's handle business. Don't give me this 6 years later with all the money falling in, and now you want to be worried about where every penny and every dime going when I know you were asking for it, but he was disrespecting you and not giving it to you. You should have halted that shit early, man.
Yeah, but I don't think they really asked for it. They didn't have a contract until the Spotify shit happened. That's only 2-3 years ago.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Before,
like
it wasn't about money. Yeah, now when we start, and I ain't gonna hold you. If we have a friendship and I don't want that, I'm not gonna go too hard about the business shit. I think the catalyst for this shit, if it were me, the catalyst would have been the Spotify shit. It would have been. Right. Like if we're not really making no money, like even if somebody comes and is like, oh, you know, we're gonna subscribe, we make a Patreon, motherfucker subscribing for fucking $1. I'm not gonna be like, yo, Jay, I need the fucking books from Spotify, nothing like that. I'm not gonna ask for that shit. But if we get a fucking multi-million deal, and then when it's time to re-up, you start denying shit and you making moves, and it's like I'm starting hearing millions instead of thousands. It's like, yeah, all right, player. I'm gonna not. If you want to start talking contracts and all this shit, yeah, I'm gonna have to see some shit, but not off of the beginnings. Like it don't matter. Anything. My thought about it will be everything that we make, regardless, will be going back into it. Like I don't want no fucking money from it. If we start making a few $1,000s, it's like I don't want the money. Let's put it back into something that we can
absolutely
reinvest in the shit and get later. But if we start talking about now, if you start pulling up and goddamn Maseratis and shit, like, hey fellas, you know, I got plan like
shiny suit Jay.
We got to talk about some shit. You know what I'm saying? So in their defense, I understand. Like in the beginning, it was like if we just doing this shit for whatever, and even they both said like we doing it. If they brought up the idea of that contract wasn't theirs, you know what I'm saying? I don't. If that's what they're saying is true, it wasn't theirs. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to press you about some shit. If I'm doing this shit and just kicking it with my homie, like, yeah, I'm not really trying to.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That's their flaw. Like they didn't treat it like business once business got on the table 3 years ago. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but if you my man, if I'm coming to you, if I say, okay, we had this contract and you my man, like, all right, it shouldn't be an issue with like, all right, y'all, this is what it is. Boom, 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 boom. If you start talking to me like, oh, this ain't your business, I'm not showing y'all shit. If you need your accountant to get your bread, then we can't be cool. Right. Now it's something different about like now it's like, am I your homie or am I like
your employee? Like, hey, what are you?
Not even an employee, because I can work for my friend. I've worked for my friends before. That's different. I can work for a family member, and you understand that dynamic. We're not coming in as, you know what I mean. You're disrespecting the contract and you disrespecting me as a homie.
Right,
like,
right.
You can disrespect the business. I don't. It ain't that deep to me. Like if Gladiator Cypher podcast becomes whatever, it's like, all right, I was doing this shit off the ship. Like I just love talking to my niggas and hanging out, whatever. It's not that deep. But if you come in here like, hey man, remember in 5th grade and nigga smacked you and took your foot, hold up, cuz. Like, no, bro, we're not doing that. Like beyond business now. Like now I gotta see you. Now you gotta get touched. Now I gotta put the paws on you.
That's crazy.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. The back and forth. You know, there's two sides of every story. I think there's a little bit of truth in kind of both of their pods that they released here lately. But I think Joe kind of went way too far with the personal attacks, like you said, especially towards Mal. And then he basically painted Rory as a colonizer, podcast colonizer. Like he went in and tried to subvert Mal and turn Mal against Joe and all this kind of stuff. And then it's just too much. I'm like, man, this dude.
This is a head cannon production. Circus production.